Is my stream going on? Yeah. So hey everyone, welcome back to another live stream. Today it is a very special day for us, right? So I'll talk about it later. Now, first today once again we'll talk about what actually happened in today's gold market, our forex market, our crypto side. We're gonna talk about everything, our analysis on our next week, and what actually happened uh, in this week, right? This previous week, we'll talk about it all. So let's begin. All right. Before that, let me share that we are live. Okay. We're live. Okay. Right. So today was a very interesting day. As you can see, these god level candles forming in gold and almost every market for Powell's speech. Due to Powell's speech, this is the result that market has shown, right? Giving huge pumps and something Fed interest rate. Yeah, so sorry for the interruption. Yeah, due to Powell's speech, we can see this huge momentum in the market. And if I talk about other pairs, about GBP, JPY, you can see this huge dump, right? And today we also gave a trade signal in this pair, which immediately took our SL. Okay, never mind. Now let's talk about Bitcoin. And Bitcoin heavily reacted from our very key zone, which is this demand zone, as you can see, right? And also fundamental, giving us the catalyst. And I think in our next week from Monday, market can actually give us a dump, right? Cause market has left a lot of liquidity and lot of orders are placed. All those active buyers are right here, and all those limit orders lying below this candles, right? As you can see, this block, this huge red color block, which indicates lot of liquidity is has left, right, after this move. So I think gold might again return to our key levels, and market could potentially fill those orders. And if I talk about our technical analysis, gold is broken above our weekly downtrend channel, right? And also gold is broken above a very key resistance. So this resistance is once again turned into a support, right? So we might see buyers stepping in if price reached to this zone once again, right? We are hoping to see buyers. And also we want to see if price breaks above our psychological level, which is 3400, we might expect gold rise from above our previous highs, right, which is this supply zone. It may invalid and potentially move higher, but it all depends, highly depends on fundamental, right? So let's see. I think today we won't be able to find good intraday setup, cause anyways market is going to end, right? But we'll look for scalp for sure. And also right now I guess Trump speech is going on, right? So we might see volatility soon. So let's hope so. And I don't want to take a trade if market is given a very strong impulsive move, right? I don't want to trade from here. I want to see a good retracement, then again maybe look for longs. But if price reaches to our key support area, we may look for small scalp setup, right? Let's see. Right now volatility is little bit low. If Trump speaks on something like about US Russia relation or Fed interest rates, something like that, yeah, again gold might show huge pump and dump in the market, right? Now let's look for setups. Okay, let's look into our all coins, which is Solana and ETH. Okay, look, Ethereum has again reached to our previous high. We might see price creating all-time highs again. Okay, there was a typical swing trade in crypto actually, which is this one. Price broke above our, I guess from 14 August to 21 August. There was a trend line, very good trend line, broke above it, and you can see price retested it, and once again, fundamental worked as the catalyst. It gave us a huge pump, right? Imagine this trade right now. Damn. Okay. Solana has given also a good pump, but not enough. Can we sell on gold? Okay. I think we should not right now cause speech is going on. It's better to trade from next week, from Monday, right? Cause anything might happen in late New York session or early Asia session, right? Before the market closes. So it's better to stay flat for today, or if price reaches to our key zones, you can look for a quick uh, buy or sell, quick scalp trades. Right now I'm not seeing any sell opportunities in gold, right? If price again, okay, I'm gonna sell if price breaks below this support, right? And target this sup yeah, support, right? Let's see. But if we see a reaction from here, again we might take a good buy side trade targeting these highs, quick scalp one, keeping our stop loss very minimal, right? Okay. Respecting 15 minutes fair value cap. Yeah, bro, it's true. This 15 minutes bearish fair value cap right here, and looks like it has filled this imbalance, right? I want to look for a recent sellers been taken out, right? Maybe a liquidity sweep. Then again, yeah, we can target this lows right here to confirm that, yeah, right now sellers are in control of the market. High probability market can again come take out this early sellers out and sweeping those all SLs above, and again market could give us a dump, right? And if I use a technical indicator, which is our Fibonacci, right? It shows our key levels where market can highly react. This highly reactive zone is this one, 0.5, 0.618 and 0.382. So Fibonacci is something like these are all psychological levels, and if you want to understand very simply, just remember whenever price reaches to the certain key zones, you may expect reactions, and from that particular zones we will look for entry setups, right? It's good for entries and keeping your take profits at this level whenever you take a trade. Yes, the golden zone, exactly. You can call it golden zone or golden pocket, whatever you like. And yeah, right now price has reacted from our 50 minutes bearish fair value cap. And also right now market is turned from bearish to bullish sentiment. So most of the time I have seen market sweeping our recent low, taking out early buyers, and again giving us a push to the upside. So right now I'm staying flat. Where are you from, man? Your accent is so good. Thank you, brother. I'm from Guwahati, Assam. Okay. Trump yapping. Yes, you are right. But right now I cannot see any major moves. If I see a crossover in this trade, which is in this pair GBP USD, I might take a quick sell. Before that, I need to see this green color EMA do a cross over this golden one. Okay, euro against Australian dollar price again reach into a key resistance, so we may find a potential sell trade. Looks like this candle is trying to fill this bearish candle, right? There's a chance price may again reach here. Okay, take out our recent sellers and again give us a dump in the market. Then we can look for a quick scalp. So far, no trade setup right now. Okay, we are seeing NSD again JPY price reacting from our key demand zone, which is this one. Don't you know Hindi? I know, bro. मेरे को पता है. I may find a trade in this pair, New Zealand dollar against Japanese yen. If I see recent inducement, or you can say a sweep. आती है हिंदी unexpected. I belong from India, bro. Of course I know Hindi. We are waiting very patiently for our trade setup. Looks like volatility is very low. Check BTC. Interesting. Okay, price is currently reacting from a resistance, right? I've drawn this resistance right here. This one. Looks like slowly sellers are trying to sell in this range, right? If price breaks above it and gives a retest, we'll look for confirmation and again take a buy trade. Somewhere, according to your accent in English, I think you are talking in English since your childhood and belong to somewhere like South. That's why I suppose. Okay. Now I understand. It's okay, bro. I understand. And if I talk about total market cap on crypto, all those, all coins and every total this market cap, it has given a rise, right, from 1.51 trillion to 1.64 trillion, right? Massive pump. And also I have done a quick analysis in here. Yup. Yeah, this is it. If price again breaks above our resistance, we may see our crypto total market cap reaching to 2 trillion or more than that. So this is the technical analysis, right? But fundamentally it may differ, obviously. Okay. Price is moving very slow, it seems. Okay. It looks like market might again take out our early sellers, those who have put all their stop losses above this FVG, this 15 minutes time frame, right? Market might take those. And I think market could heavily react from this 15 minutes candle low, right? So most of the traders around the world, they always put their stop losses below strong highs and lows. So we know most of those traders stop losses are below this candle. So if price market take these lows, market can again give us a quick reaction and we may take a scalp trade here. Let's see. And also support zone is lying here, so which is a good sign. Okay. Okay. Let me just see if Trump is speaking anything interesting. This ads.
I know more about low-income housing and luxury housing. I know about everything real estate. They want to
I
replace
think
some of
this is
those
live.
homes with low-income housing. They haven't gotten their permits yet. We've gotten all the federal permits, which are much tougher to get, and it was done almost immediately through Lee Zeldin and Federal Environmental. And I watched the other day, those people are angry. And now, you know, they had tremendous, they loved that area. They loved the whole big area, different places, but they loved it. It was all luxury stuff and beautiful stuff. And some wasn't that luxury, but the level of love for that neighborhood, their neighborhoods, was incredible. And you know what? I watch people on television, they want to go, they want to leave. They've lost their spirit, they've lost their heart because the mayor's incompetent. And Gavin Newsom is incompetent. Got a good line of bullshit, but that's about it. He's incompetent. And you have Los Angeles is, you know, it's amazing. You know, I called, the first thing I did, I got the Olympics to go there. I was the one that got it. And by a rare thing that happened, I'll be the president. I was very upset because I got the Olympics there, and I said I won't be president when it comes. But bad things happened, and illegal things happened, really illegal things happened. Now it turns out one good thing was I'm going to be the president for the Olympics for 2050, for 250, which is going to be fantastic, and also for the World Cup. So we have a lot of good things, and I hope 250 is going to be the 250th anniversary is going to be the best. But when I looked at those people, and I saw last night on television that they still don't have their permits, it's a disgrace what's happened in Los Angeles.
Yeah, thank you. The China tariff deadline is tonight, but do you plan to extend that?
We'll see what happens. China's been, we've been dealing very nicely with China, as you probably have heard. They have tremendous tariffs that they're paying to the United States of America. And we'll see what happens. They've been dealing quite nicely. The relationship is very good with President Xi and myself.
President, you mentioned your upcoming meeting with President Putin. Can
Yeah.
you tell us what you hope to get out of that and whether you'll consider inviting President Zelensky to join?
So you have to understand, this is a war that should have never happened. This is a war that wouldn't have happened if I were president. It would have never happened. It was the apple of his eye. I got along very well with President Putin. But if you look, under President Bush, they took a lot of territory. Under President Obama, they took a lot of territory. Under Biden, they essentially took the whole thing. You know, it's just a question of time. Under Trump, you know what they took? Nothing, nothing. I was the one that said, you can't build your pipeline. That was half built. I came in, I stopped the pipeline. It's called Nord Stream 2. Nobody knows that, you know? Nobody ever heard of Nord Stream 2. You might have not even heard of it. Biggest pipeline in the world. I stopped it. I was not a friend of Russia, but I got along well with Putin. It's always good to get along with other countries if possible, but that doesn't mean you roll over like Biden did. Biden came in and he immediately approved the pipeline. I couldn't believe it. Then they said Trump wasn't tough on Russia. I wasn't tough. I was the toughest. Putin said, if you're not tough, I would hate like hell to see you. I stopped the biggest economic development job,
So
the
let's
biggest
see.
job that Russia had ever
We are
built. I
expecting
stopped
some
it. It was
volatility
dead.
right now 'cause US
And this
Trump is talking
low
about
IQ president
Russia,
came in
right?
and he let them
Let's
build
see.
the pipeline and supply oil and gas all over Europe, you know? So this is really a feel-out meeting a little bit. And President Putin invited me to get involved. He wants to get involved. I believe he wants to get it over with. Now, I've said that a few times, and I've been disappointed because I'd have like a great call with him, and then missiles would be lobbed into Kiev or some other place, and you'd have 60 people laying on a road dying. I said, that's cold, that's cold. But it's a violent war. 5,000 to 7,000 people a week are dying. And you know, there's nobody from here. They're all Russian and Ukrainian people, and some people from the cities, much smaller number, but still, those missiles do damage and they kill a lot of people, but mostly soldiers. And they're young soldiers, although in the case of Ukraine, they're getting much older. They're drafting 60-year-olds now. It's a terrible thing to witness, and I think I have an obligation. Look, this is Joe Biden's war. This is not my war. I made a deal with NATO a month ago. You covered it very accurately, actually. We don't pay anything anymore. You know, we're
Okay.
not paying anything. They are buying things from us, and NATO is paying us. I got it raised from 2% of GDP to 5%. And they're paying
Is it fine
us
now,
for
guys?
everything that we send. We're not paying. But Biden approved $350 billion. Europe has spent $100 billion. The money that's been spent and the death is incredible. It's the worst thing that's happened, by far the worst that's happened since World War II. So I'm going in to speak to Vladimir Putin. And I'm going to be telling him, you got to end this war. You got to end
So
it.
as I was telling, if
And he wasn't gonna
right
mess
now
with
Trump
me.
is talking
He
about
this war would have
US,
never happened.
sorry, Russia,
You know, we
right?
had a discussion
And
about it one
if
time and we never had that
US
discussion again. Would
and
have never
Russian
happened.
relation gets
And when the
better,
election was
we
rigged,
might see gold
and then
dump
Biden took
in the
office,
market.
which was barely took office. The auto pen
There
took
might be a
office.
risk in safe
Bad things started
heaven
happening.
demand
Bad things,
in
stupid
gold,
things
right?
were said. And it ended up in a war. And you know,
But again, if we see another war,
this will happen anymore
yeah,
because I have-
gold will
I'm
rise
pretty well
definitely.
covered. This could end up in a third world war. This could have been a third world war. I don't think that's going to happen now. But I thought it was very respectful that the president of Russia is coming to our country as opposed to us going to his country or even a third party place. But I think we'll have constructive conversations. Then after that meeting, immediately, maybe as I'm flying out, maybe as I'm leaving the room, I'll be calling the European leaders who I get along with very well. And, you know, I have a great relationship, I think, with all of them. And I get along with Zelensky, but, you know, I disagree with what he's done. Very,
Trump's
very
son and
severely
his
disagree. This is a
daughter-in-law
war
are
that should have
looking.
never happened. Wouldn't have happened.
I don't think that's Trump's
But I'll
son,
be
bro.
speaking to Zelensky. The next meeting will be with Zelensky
It's not him,
and
definitely.
Putin, or Zelensky and Putin and me. I'll be there.
I guess it's one of his
they need, But I
officials.
want to have a meeting set up between the two leaders. I was a little bothered by the fact that Zelensky was saying, well, I have to get constitutional approval. I mean, he's got approval to go into war and kill everybody, but he needs approval to do a land swap because there'll be some land swapping going on. I know that through Russia and through conversations with everybody to the good, for the good of Ukraine. Good stuff, not bad stuff. Also, some bad stuff for both. So there's good and there's bad. But it's very complex because you have lines that are very uneven. And there'll be some swapping, there'll be some changes in land. And the word that they will use is, you know, they make changes. We're going to change the lines, the battle lines. Russia's occupied a big portion of Ukraine. They've occupied some very prime territory. We're going to try and get some of that territory back for Ukraine. But they've taken some very prime territory. They've taken largely ocean, you know, in real estate we call it oceanfront property. That's always the most valuable property. If you're in a lake, a river, or an ocean, it's always the best property. Well, Ukraine, a lot of people don't know that Ukraine was largely 1,000 miles
I know,
of
just kidding.
ocean. That's gone. Other than one small area, Odessa, it's a small area. There's just a little bit of water left. So I'm going to
Come
go
on,
and see
Trump,
the
just
parameters.
give
Now,
us
I
the
may
volatility
leave
we need.
and say good luck, and that'll be the end. I may say this is not going to be settled. I mean, there are those that believe that Putin wanted all of Ukraine. I happen to be one of them, by the way. I think if it weren't for me, he would not be even talking to anybody else right now. But I'm going to meet with him. We're going to see what the parameters are. I'm then going to call up President Zelensky and the European leaders right after the meeting, yeah. And I'm going to tell them what kind of a deal. I'm not going to make a deal. It's not up to me to make a deal. I think a deal should be made for both. I think Russia has to get back into building their country. It's a massive country. I think they have 11 time zones, if you can believe it. It's a massive, it's by far, from the standpoint of land, it's by far the largest. They have tremendous potential in Russia to do well. They're not doing well. Their economy is not doing well right now because it's been very well disturbed by this. It doesn't help when the president of the United States
I guess the
tells
best
their largest or
businessman
second
I've
largest,
ever seen is
oil
Donald Trump.
buyer that we're putting a 50%
Bro
tariff on you
knows.
if you buy oil from Russia. That was a big blow. And then they say, gee, he wasn't so tough. Nobody else would have done that. And I haven't stopped there. I mean, look, I was all set to do things far bigger than that but I got a call that they'd like to meet, and I'm going to see what they want to meet about. I'd like to see a ceasefire. I'd like to see the best deal that could be made for both parties. You know, it takes two to tango, right? So ultimately, I'll have a meeting next week. I had a great relationship with him, considering the fact that, you know, I was not nice to him because of the pipeline. I ended the pipeline. I also gave the javelins. Do you ever hear of a javelin? Javelin is called a tank buster. They say that Obama gave them sheets and I gave them javelins. If it weren't for me, all those tanks that were destroyed at the first days of the war because the tanks got stuck in the mud, some commander made a better you know, they would have been in Kiev in 4 hours going down the highway. But a Russian general made a brilliant decision to go through the farmland instead. And they just had torrential rains, and the rains were so bad, and it was mud, and those tanks got stuck in the mud. I don't know who that general is, but knowing Vladimir, he's probably not around any longer because all those tanks were stuck in the mud, and they went along with the javelins. I gave them the javelins. You know that, right? I gave them javelins. They gave them sheets. But I'm going to meet with President Putin, and we're going to see what he has in mind. And if it's a fair deal, I'll reveal it to the European Union leaders and to the NATO leaders, and also to President Zelensky. I think out of respect, I'll call him first, and then I'll call them after. And I may say, lots of luck, keep fighting, or I may say we can make a deal. I will tell you this, I've seen a poll coming out of Ukraine. 88% of the people would like to see a deal made. And if you go back 3 years, everybody was gung-ho for war. You know, everybody's gung-ho for war until you have it. It's an amazing thing. I had it with a couple of countries where I couldn't get a deal done
Copyright
with one
upcoming,
particular
brother.
country.
No worries.
And I just couldn't.
I'm
The
in
guy's
use
great, he's a
30
friend of mine, great.
shorts from
Good leader, tough as
45710.
hell. I couldn't
Alright,
get the
bro.
deal done. And then he went into war for a short period of time. You know where I'm talking about. First term.
Let's check on
And it was nasty, guys. being
US
killed all
stock.
over the place. And
what is
he
that?
went through 1 week of war,
US
and I was able to
30.
get the deal done. He said, "This is nasty." Yes, please.
Yeah, just to follow up on what you were saying there. First of all, Volodymyr Zelensky is not invited on Friday?
He wasn't a part of it. I would say he could go, but he's gone to a lot of meetings. You know, he's been there for 3.5 years. Nothing happened.
And what is the definition?
I mean, do you want somebody that's been doing this for 3.5 years? What's the definition of a good deal? I'll tell you after I hear what the deal
Market
is.
might
Because there
potentially
could be many
fill those orders,
definitions.
right?
You know, you're talking about
Out of high liquidity
a
line
very
here.
large and complex situation. Now, I tell you, the war that I just settled with Azerbaijan and with, as you know, and Armenia,
Looks like sellers are
was
stepping in.
almost as complex as this one, having to do with routes,
successful
trade.
meeting on Friday with Vladimir Putin.
Well, we're going to have a meeting with Vladimir Putin, and at the end of that meeting, probably in the first 2 minutes, I'll know exactly whether or not a deal can be
How will
made.
you know that?
Because that's what I do. I make deals.
Mr.
Yeah, please, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. I'm going to ask you two questions, one about China, one about Russia, if I could. On China, your administration agreed to send the most advanced or advanced NVIDIA, well, and then 15% of the
You
profits
mean the
come back.
20s? No, this is an old chip that China already has. And I deal with Jensen, who's a great guy, and NVIDIA. The chip that we're talking about, the H20, it's an old chip. China already has it in a different form, different name, but they have it. Or they have a combination of two will make up for it, and even then some. Now Jensen Jensen's a very brilliant guy, and Jensen also has a new chip, the Blackwell. Do you know what the Blackwell is? The Blackwell is super duper advanced. I wouldn't make a deal with that, although it's possible I'd make a deal, a somewhat enhanced in a negative way,
Okay.
Blackwell. In other words, take 30% to 50% off of it. But that's the latest and the greatest in the world. Nobody has it. They won't have it for 5 years. But the H20 is obsolete. You know, it's one of those things, but it still has a market. So I said, listen, I want 20% if I'm going to approve this for you, for the country, for our country, for the U.S. I don't want it myself. You know, every time I say like 747, I want, yeah, for the Air Force. So I just wanted, so when I say I want 20, I want for the country. I only care about the country. I don't care about myself. And he said, would you make it 15? So we negotiated a little deal. So he's selling a essentially old chip that Huawei has a similar chip, a chip that does the same thing. And I said, good, if I'm going to give it to you, because they have a, they have a stopper, what we call a stopper, not allowed to do it. A restricted, it's really known as a restrictive covenant. And I said, if I'm going to do that, I want you to pay us as a country something, because I'm giving you a release. I released them only from the H-20. Now, on the Blackwell, I think he's coming to see me again about that. But that will be a unenhanced version of the big one. Like, I don't know if you know it, we will sometimes sell fighter jets to a country and we'll give them 20% less than we have. Do you know what I mean, right? That's the same.
So on Russia, do you see a time, Mr. President, when there could be normal trade between the U.S. and Russia? Should your meeting go well? Should there be peace?
I do. Yeah. Russia has a very valuable piece of land. If Vladimir Putin would go toward business instead of toward war, it's a warring nation. That's what they do. They fight a lot of wars. A friend of mine said Russia's tough because they just keep on fighting. They beat Hitler, so did we. And they beat Napoleon. They've been doing this for a long time. I asked a question to a very, very smart man that some people like and some people don't like. Viktor Orban, right? From Hungary, the head of Hungary. And he's in that same area and knows the two countries very well. I said, this was before Biden didn't do anything to get us out of it. He could have gotten us out of that. It would have never happened. I said, so can Russia be beaten by Ukraine? He looked at me like, what a stupid question. He said, Russia's a massive country, and they win their country, and they win their life through wars. They fight wars.
Price is very boring right now.
He said, China beats you with trade. Russia beats you with war. It was a very interesting statement. China's not beating us with trade, not when I'm in charge, but they were beating Biden with trade, but they never beat us with trade. Don't forget, China had to pay $400 billion worth of tariffs when I was last time. That was last time. And if we didn't have COVID, all of this stuff we would be loaded. We're finding hundreds of billions of dollars of cash is pouring into our country now because of tariffs. And all we're doing is we're doing what they do to us. It's so beautiful to see it. They found last month, as you saw, $25 billion of excess cash flow. They say, where did it come from? I said, I'll tell you where it came from.
Look at all those orders.
A place called Tariffs. And we're doing very well. We're really doing well. But
Look at the volume.
I expect to have a meeting with Putin that I think it'll be good, but it might be bad. And I'm here for one reason, to get rid of a war that somebody else started. Should have never happened. And if I could end it, great. Complex war, a lot of bad blood, But Zelensky's been there for 3.5 years. So if you put him in a room, now I will say this, ultimately I'm going to put the two of them in a room. I'll be there or won't be there. And I think it'll get solved. Yeah, please be happy.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Excuse me, I'm going to suggest, because do you have any other questions on DC? Because I don't want them to be, wait. These are incredible people. I don't want them to be standing up here on subjects that, does anybody have a question of them? And then you guys can leave. Okay, a question, Brian, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President. All right.
And by the way, this is only on DC, and then they're going to leave because it's unfair to have them stand up here all day long.
I agree.
Brian.
I've got two questions for you. First, about DC. This is personal for me as well. Last year, I was robbed on the streets by one of these teenage thugs. Had a gun, got away with it. let's talk about the effort that between law enforcement,
Bro's getting straight into
prosecutors,
the
and
point, it
judges, because
seems.
it's a recycling belt. Like these kids go, they don't fear the police. They know it. If you talk about how we've got to get these judges and put these kids behind bars,
Right.
adult crimes deserve adult penalties. And my second question, I'll after you answer that, please.
Do you want me to answer
Or
it?
whoever wants to take it.
Okay, it's real. Do you want me to answer it? Here's the problem. Assuming that they're 17 years, older than 17 years old, I can get the case. If they're under 18 years of age, I can only get the case if it's murder, rob one, rape, or even if they shoot a gun but don't kill you, I can't get it. So the law has to be changed. As the president said, cashless bail. That has to be changed. All right, then even assuming I get the case, I get jurisdiction, I get a conviction, the DC Council has given the judges the ability to give probation on shootings. And so then it's up to them. All of these things, the Youth Rehabilitation Incarceration Reduction Act, and now they want to seal records. So if we work hard, we get a conviction, they want to wipe it out. So that needs all to be changed.
Okay, Mr. Question.
Pam, would you answer that also?
Yeah, and just back to that topic. Let's be clear though, we're going to charge them and we're going to track every single thing they do throughout every step of the court process and report back to you and let all of you know what's happening to them. Because the people who are prosecuting them, the judges who are trying them, they also need to be held accountable.
Mr. President, you also made the comment. You made the comment you walked out here. This is the most people we've ever seen in this briefing.
I've never seen
ever, right?
I've never seen any. Where's Caroline? Where's my superstar? Caroline. Is Caroline in the back? Where's Caroline? Come here, Caroline. Come here, Caroline. Come here. Is she doing a good job, by the way? Come here, Caroline. Is this the largest crowd that you've ever seen?
This is definitely the most packed briefing, and I think all of you would agree. I think it's why we need to build a ball.
Bro wants the Nobel Peace Prize badly.
All right, Brian, go ahead.
The question is this. You're building the big, beautiful ballroom.
Yeah.
Could we build a big, beautiful briefing room, updated technology, more seats?
I don't want to do that. I don't want you to be comfortable. So no, I don't want to make life comfortable. So look. Let's just do this. It's going to be a big thing. We're going to Russia. That's going to be a big deal. What happens, happens. I'll let you know what happens. You'll be the first to know. I'll be calling the European leaders. I'm going with totally. I mean, we have a lot of talks. They're great people. They're great leaders, actually, and they want to get back. Honestly,
He's controversial.
as one
Nazrah.
of them said, I've
And also a great
OD'd
businessman.
on trying to settle
He knows how to handle
Ukraine.
the
They've OD'd,
situation,
meaning
right?
They've overdosed on the settlement of Ukraine. Not a nice expression, but boy, is it accurate. They're tired of it. They want to get back to spending money on their countries. You know, Biden gave them $350 billion.
Bro is a
Europe
personal
gave
problem
100 billion.
against
It should
Biden.
be much more than that. Shouldn't have been that kind of. They should have had equalization, but they didn't. But you know what? Still a lot of money. They want to get back to building their own countries. They really want it resolved. My relationship with the European leaders, as you saw, is extremely good. It's perfect. It's beautiful. Wait. And we're going to try.
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it, just by thinking about it. Meet Base 40.
European leaders, but they rely on me, very much rely on me. If it wasn't for me, this thing would never get solved until the last person breathing is dead. Yeah, I did. I'm talking to him right now. So I'm talking to the European leaders. I'll be talking to President Zelensky. I'm going to get everybody's ideas. I go into that thing fully loaded right up there, and we're going to see what happens. Now, I think one of two things is going to happen. It's going to be a good meeting, and we'll go a step further. We'll get it done. I'd like to see a ceasefire very, very quickly. Very quick. I'd like to see it immediately, but I'd like to see it very quickly. And
If there is a ceasefire again, we might see
dealing with President Zelensky,
a dumb.
and hopefully we're going to have a great
Right.
success. As far as this, what we did today, and I think you were here for DC more so than even Russia, because Russia will be we have a couple of days to go. But the Russia is going to be very interesting. But to me, what
This upcoming
is very exciting, we're going to take
weeks
back our
are
capital.
going to be
We're
very
going to make it
interesting
beautiful again, but we're going to make it more
for
importantly
the
safe
market.
again. It's going to be so safe. It's going to be a model. And then we'll look at other cities also. But other cities are studying what we're doing. And you have some capable people in other cities. They can do it too. But we have a great group of professionals. We're going to have a safe, beautiful capital, and it's going to happen very quickly. Thank you all. Thank you all very much. Wow. I've been up here a lot. I've never seen a crowd like this. I think we need a ballroom, and that's happening. It's going to be a beautiful ballroom. This is really a lot of people, most I've ever seen in this room. And we're here for a very serious purpose, very serious purpose.
I think
Something's out of
the
control, but we're going to put
live is ended, right? I guess now it's in a repeat mode, it seems. So right now in market we cannot find any, strong movement, very low volatility, right? Powell's great move. Uh, okay. Looks like buyers in control, definitely. Till now, no good setups. Okay. Looks like there is a trade setup. Quick scalp. Okay. Okay, guys. If anyone wants to take a trade, you can take this trade in GBP against US dollar. Let me just post that. Let me just post this is a we found a trade in our Telegram group. Beautiful. Oh, nice one. Okay. Damn. Around 3 pips. Market is reaching to our almost 4 pips. Okay. Beautiful. 4.6 pips. I guess looks like price heavily reacted from this support, right? Okay, let me just post that we can take partial. Okay, 5 pips done. Oops. Can secure partial. We just need this momentum to continue and hit our take profit. Let's see. Buyers are intact, right? It's a good sign. Just one strong bullish candle and beautiful 1:2 risk reward. Beautiful trade, guys. almost nearing our take profit level. Beautiful. 6 pips done. Almost about to hit our take profit. Beautiful trade, guys. A quick sniper entry, right? This was our entry level. Immediately after that gave us a very strong reaction because prices reacted good from our support zone. Okay, 7 pips done and it hit our take profit. GG's. Beautiful. Okay, damn. Okay, so behind this this trade thesis was basically price broke above our trend line, right? You can see this multiple times sellers stepped in whenever price reach into this trend line. So lot of stop losses were above those. So once price broke above our trend line, this trend line resistance turned into a key support. So as you can see, price has reacted from this support, and yeah, buyers stepped in, and buyers saw that lot of people's orders are lying above all their SL, and market did a quick SL hunt, right? Stop loss hunt, and we're also taking advantage of this support, right? Beautiful. And before this huge reaction, market also gave us a inducement. Those are early buyers, right? Then buyers took control of the market, and as we know, the overall trend is bullish, right? So for obvious reasons we'll look for longs, and yeah, we did beautifully hit our take profit, and we are done for the day. Nice one. Let me just post that at our take profit. Okay, how much pips was that? Yeah, 8.5, basically 8 pips. You see all those low resistance liquidity lying above, right? So liquidity is orders, or you can say people's stop loss, right? So market took all of them. High possibilities market might reach here, our previous high, but we don't want to keep on holding the trade till here, right? We did a very minimal, we put our stop loss in our good risk to ratio, right? 3.6 pips, very good and decent. And we did a quick 1:2 risk ratio. I could have taken this trade, but anyways, I'm done for the day. Right, and I have a rule, right? Like after 8:30, or you can say 9, I don't want to take trades, right? Better I would wait for the next day and freshen up my mind and take more good setups, right? I don't want to be in the charts whole day. because it might affect our psychology, right? Okay, guys, I think I'm gonna end the stream now. It was a beautiful session with you all, guys. It was a very good interactive, right? And it was a very interesting day too. Lot of things were happening on the market, and yeah, we got a very good trade, and almost it took us 5 minutes to hit our take profit, and yeah, we are done for the day. So see you guys in the next live. Bye bye.